Today on the Star Trek Universe podcast, Star Trek Discovery Episode 4, The Butcher's Knife Cares Not for the Lamb's Cry. Right after this.
Welcome to the Star Trek Universe podcast. My name's Matthew Carroll.
I'm David C. Robertson.
Man, episode 4.
You want that summary, man? You want that summary?
Yeah, full spoiler alert. We're going to talk about episode 4 of Discovery.
And I'll be referencing Memory Alpha, the wonderful Star Trek Wikipedia thing, or Wikia. What do you call it? Yeah, the wiki. Memory Alpha. As per Memory Alpha, with tensions and stakes high as Starfleet continues in their efforts to end the war with the Klingons, Michael Burnham begins to settle into her new position aboard the USS Discovery. And that is a ridiculously small summary for all the stuff that happened with Michael in this episode.
Yeah, it was a pretty intense episode. I'd like to. Let's get into it. What do you feel happened so much with Burnham this episode?
Well, I love the metaphor between Michael and Ripper.
Me too.
Like, I loved it. Presumed dangerous. Nothing in his biology suggests a predator, but it's judged by one event in his past.
Yeah. It's a little heavy-handed, honestly. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a clear correlation there.
Yeah, and absolutely.
I feel like she, in trying to prove the tardigrade is a good creature, or at least not a predator, she's like trying to prove herself not a predator.
And yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
I think what I enjoy, it is heavy-handed, but I think they did it in such a way that is like, she is trying to get that across to Landry, and then Landry is like, yeah, I get it. Like the way she responds, and we'll get into that later, but the way she really responds just basically says, yeah, I get what you're trying to say, but it doesn't matter because Lorca sees you both as tools, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I loved that.
I loved that too, and I also loved... I mean, this episode begins with Burnham synthesizing a new Starfleet uniform.
Mm-hmm. And which is the first time we've ever seen that in Star Trek.
Yes.
On that level.
I just love the metaphor of her putting on her old self. And she wants to get back to her old self so bad, and she wants to believe she can be redeemed. But she also keeps making like really bold decisions, like trying to feed the tardigrade after it just kills Landry. Landry opening that thing with no real plan is just dumb. Like I was glad she was dead.
I was too, and some have seen that as like a plot problem. Like it was just like that made no sense for them to do it. To be fair, she thought that she was going to be able to sedate it,
right?
But she was just dumb.
I don't think it was a plot problem as much as just a character did a really dumb thing. Mm-hmm. Really dumb. It was so dumb. It pissed me off.
It may have been sloppy writing. I think there is some sloppy writing in this episode that bothers me, but I don't know. I'm glad to see Landry go. She got what she deserved. And by the way, hey, anyone can die now, right? Like that was our first little indication, really, aside from Giorgio.
They gave her a little bit of a character. Like you did see her in the third episode and this episode, and she seemed like she was going to be around, and then suddenly she's just murdered by the tardigrade. I forgot how quickly she died.
Oh yeah, her screams were great though. They were soul crushing.
Yeah. I
got a little sick.
Yeah, it's a really gross death. Like
yeah, but you know what?
Really gets her.
I didn't feel nearly as bad for her as I did for the tardigrade when it's like in pain inside of the spore drive or whatever.
I totally agree. I feel like it's a little weird that it's got like it's being like powered by nipple clamps. just slightly uncomfortable with it.
I didn't think it was nipple clamps. I thought it was like needles or something going into it. Like, clearly something that was causing it problems.
I don't think it is nipple clamps, but it looks it looks like nipple clamps. It looks like something is pinching its chest area into nipplish areas. It just weird S&M space travel. I don't know.
Yeah, when he goes, that's his safe word, and they just ignore it, and that's not cool. That's not how that's supposed to work.
They ignore it. They do straight up ignore the tardigrade safe word.
Yeah.
Scree.
Do you remember what Scree is?
Yes. I'm making a Star Trek 4 subtitles reference. Okay.
I was hoping that's what you were doing. On the old VHS of Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, when the whales are on screen in the water, and if you have the closed captioning on, the old style closed captioning, what they wrote was SKREEEEE, Scree.
It doesn't seem to be like a whale sound at all. It's real funny.
Right. And I tortured my sister Ashley with that for years because I would just go Scree, and she was like, "Shut up, that's not funny." I don't know why she got mad about a lot of stuff like that. Just nonsense. But yeah, Matt and I had a grand old time when we realized that was on those VHS.
Definitely made us laugh. So let's get. So I really like what they did with the Burnham character here. A lot of cool things. With the connections of the tardigrade, like without actually really discussing her character at all, they just really showed a lot of how she's feeling through her sort of trying to redeem the tardigrade, which she would probably not admit. Well, I don't know because she says her emotions inform her logic. That's something she says in episode 1, and it's interesting to me. What do you think is which is informing here? Is it her logic that she's seeing this creature as a possible sentient life form that is not as? Is that just part of her logic? And she does make a logical argument. She says, "A thing can be only what it is," and that's what. One of my favorite quotes in this episode was Landry's response. "It's amazing." She said the delivery is perfect. She says, "It's amazing how much I hate Vulcan proverbs." Her delivery sucks you in. You think she's gonna say it's how amazing it is. Like she liked the proverb, and then she's like, "It's amazing how much I hate Vulcan proverbs." Really good delivery by Landry on that one.
See, I didn't get that delivery at all. I just got it's amazing how much I hate Vulcan proverbs. She's just so annoyed by it.
I thought she was going to say something completely different based on the way she delivered. It's amazing, and then she just really. It was like she sucked her in, like she was going to say something. I don't know. I thought so anyway.
It's interesting that we saw that differently.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go back now.
Yeah, let's do a rewatch of our rewatch.
Because that's what kind of fans we are. That's what kind of man I am.
I thought one of the biggest things this episode that showed Lorca his kind of captaining. He's commanding his crew to do what he tells them to do. He's having all this pushback from Stamets, and I think he's getting frustrated. And the way he convinces them is by playing the message over the loudspeakers, which I thought was interesting on a lot of levels. Some of which are spoilery levels that I won't get into. I thought it was interesting that it convinced Stamets to work. It convinced Tilly to work. It was good captaining, and it was for a good reason, but it was also sort of manipulative.
Oh, it was awful. I'm not sure it was good captaining. That's captaining from a point of fear, and captaining from a place of inspiring people by their own negative emotions.
See, I don't think so. I thought it was inspiring people to have sympathy.
See, I didn't think that sympathy was any. I think Lorca was playing that audio from Korvan 2 because he basically wanted to guilt them into being better.
You can say guilting them, but it also is just like straight up showing them what the actual stakes are.
There is that. If Sisko had done it, I would have been on board.
Right.
And I'm not on board.
Lorca's a different kind of captain, and we're going to constantly be questioning his choices, but he really does want to win this war. Like he has a real desire to beat the Klingons and to save the Federation, and his motivation seems pure. I don't think I don't know. I did not mind the hit. Like, it definitely seems manipulative, but it's what he thought needed to happen to get his crew to do what they needed to do, and they did it.
Right.
You know, he saved the Korvan 2 and made a big impact in the war effort, probably because he played that tape.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't effective. I'm just saying it's dirty pool. But,
right.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, it's dirty.
It's just... It's a testament to who he is.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Picard... Well, it's interesting because he keeps it to himself at first. He only plays that card when he feels like he needs to. So I think he has the same sort of... Like, I think Picard would have kept that to himself. He would have, like, kept it to himself because he keeps everything to himself, but also because he would want to keep it from the crew. Like, protect them from having to view that.
Well, but also Picard's crew is like the finest in the fleet and never had any problems, and Counselor Troi would have whined about what she was feeling, which would have been like the people from Korvan 2 dying or whatever.
Right.
And then they would have all been like Riker would have raised an eyebrow and looked very pensive.
Right.
And they would have just done exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah.
Except for Worf, who would have aimed his gun or his phaser at the view screen for no reason.
I love it so much, the supercuts of Worf never getting to do what he's like on the bridge to do. Like the supercuts of like Picard telling Worf to stand down and Worf just looking frustrated as hell. Is like
I prefer the supercuts of Worf getting his ass kicked.
Oh, that's funny. I love the supercuts of Riker sitting down.
Yes,
just another supercut.
Pretty much the Screen Junkies honest trailer for TNG is like the best thing ever.
Oh yeah. So Tilly really drives that whole thing home for me. When Tilly at the end is just like totally ready to go save Korvan 2, and like she's putting in all this extra effort. Stamets was like his like direct, the person who was pushing back, but I thought Tilly coming in toward the end and being like, we've got to save him, like it showed the effect he had on the whole crew, not just on Stamets.
Yeah.
He just like, I need to light a fire under these people. What can I do? Oh yeah, I'm just going to play this horrible tape for everyone.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful when the ship did go and save Korvan 2, and all the people like, who was that? Like, I don't know, it was fun.
It looks so cool.
It really looked awesome.
It looks so cool. How do you feel about, because so far, and I'll be honest, I don't remember from the first watch, because I was just watching it for the entertainment of it the first time, so I don't like... I'm not sure if this continues to track, but it feels like we have not had an episode yet where Michael Burnham doesn't do something really shitty. Like this episode, she tricks Saru into coming down into the biolab just to see if his like threat ganglia will react to Ripper.
Right. Honestly, it reminds me a little bit of something. I think it's her Vulcan coming out. It reminds me of something a Vulcan would do or Spock would do. It's just sort of disregarding the emotions of Saru. Like, it's shitty. It's not that shitty, though. It's just kind of like, it's not like she hurt someone.
It's not. It's just deceptive as hell.
It's deceptive. And it is particularly bad because she, like, apologize in the same breath. She could have had Saru down there and just said anything to him, but she brought him down and and gave him an apology that he really deserved, and then undercut it by that's not really why she called him down there, and like that was shitty. But I think it's like something that like a Spock type character, any Vulcan would do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel like they would have been mad at... Well, McCoy would have been mad at Spock.
Yeah, McCoy would have for sure been mad at Spock. And sort of rightfully so. And I think Spock would have said something, like, he would have given a fake emotional answer to someone just to get their response of some... You know, like, and then go, oh, no, that's not what I felt at all. I don't... that was just me getting what I needed out of you. You know, I'm just doing the logical thing. You needed me to say that. I needed to say that to get you to do the thing I needed.
Right.
So I was fine with that. But it is shitty, and I like Saru's threat ganglia are funny. It's funny that the threat ganglia seem to operate separate from his brain. Like, it's weird. It's a weird thing.
Right.
Like, how does his threat ganglia know anything about the tardigrade? Like, that doesn't track, really.
Well, you know, it doesn't have to. Like, his species might be, you know, somewhat connected.
Some sort of telepathy or something.
Well, maybe not even telepathy. It might be a little like. Connected some sort of like space-time continuum. You know what I mean? Like his ganglia are the prophets, essentially.
Right. We don't know how they work yet, and they might dive into that later.
Well, he said that they've been conquered and stuff so much. I think we'll get a short trek about him.
Yeah,
but it did seem there seemed to be an insinuation, at least, that like his planet was taken over so much, and there were so many threats that they basically evolved to sense death coming.
Yes.
Like a spider sense.
Yeah, I was going to say spider sense.
That's right.
But I think I don't know. It's a little weird, but I'm down with it. It's fine.
I like weird.
I like weird too.
You know, if you can't do it with aliens, and you know. If you can't do it on Star Trek, where the hell can you do it?
Right. What is the doctor's name?
Oh, gosh. I finally don't know.
That's okay.
He was on Party of Five.
I really enjoyed the Doctor and his interactions with Stamets and his complaining at him.
Actually, you know what's funny about him is he was on Party of Five, and he explained to the youngest sibling on the show that he was gay, and he explained gay and straight as like some people like Marvel and some people like DC. Culber, Dr. Culber. That's his name.
Yeah, Doctor.
I just remembered it. Yay!
I enjoyed Dr. Culber. His first appearance, I think, on the show was this episode. I don't think he was on that first episode. Yeah,
that's right.
Any other? We haven't talked about Voq and L'Rell at all.
I feel bad for Voq, man. I feel bad for him.
Oh, me too.
But I like how L'Rell basically was like, yeah, by the way, we're known as the House of Deceivers, and then she like totally deceives Cole and in some ways Voq, and then like I don't know, just the turnaround on that was awesome.
Yeah, I liked it. I was never deceived. Like from the moment she like makes her little move and goes and grabs that whatever Klingon chicken.
Klingon chicken.
Come on down to Klingon chicken.
Klingon fried chicken.
Yeah. So
we fried alive.
From the moment she grabs that chicken, I loved it. I thought it was a really fun maneuver, but I just knew from the very beginning that that's what she was doing. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked her. You know, I loved Cole just giving them food to win the loyalty of Voq's crew.
Yeah.
What does he say? Something. How I didn't write this quote down, but I should have, because it was probably one of my favorite quotes of the episode. Was his line about it being the loyalty of hungry men is cheap, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
It's really good.
I didn't write it down.
Really good. I love the stuff in this.
Did you catch what house Cole is from, though?
No.
House of Core.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we got a little tie back to TOS and DS9.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. I think that's about all I've got character-wise. I thought Voke and Lorel were pretty interesting. I liked the little love story. It seems to be brewing.
It's a percolating.
It's a percolating. There's a fish in the percolator. There's a real weird. You ever seen Twin Peaks?
No. I keep expecting that I will at some point, and I keep not doing it.
I tried to watch it. I watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes, and I couldn't get through it. But I keep meaning to go back, because it's good and weird as hell. But
that's what I hear.
There's just a scene where an old woman says, "There's a fish in the percolator," like talking about her coffee pot or whatever. And just, I don't know. It's just real weird and funny, and that line just sticks with me.
Oh, you know what sticks with me? Freaking Lorel and Voke eating Giorgio.
Oh, yeah. That's right. They do say that they ate Giorgio.
As he, like, peeled her smooth flesh from her skull or whatever. No, oh, my gosh.
As he scooped her brains from her smooth skull. Is I believe what she says. And that's disgusting. So, yeah. Klingons are, I guess that's technically not canon.
Well, they were starving.
Oh, that's true. Well, were they starving when Giorgio was still good to eat? Because that was pretty early on. Did they put it on ice thinking they might be starving later?
Yeah, I was about to say, just because they have a broken warp drive doesn't mean that they are, without a refrigerator.
Right. But I just don't see you putting her in the fridge. It seems more like it was something they did out of
desperation or revenge, maybe.
I was thinking it was something they did because she was their enemy.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible.
I guess, is that cannibalism? If you're eating a different species?
No. I mean, if you look at it from, a high-level preserver aspect, yeah, it's kind of cannibalism. But, they don't know about the preservers yet.
Right. So, we like to bring our favorite quotes from the episode.
Can I just say a couple more things here? I loved that Stamets, so far, Stamets has been almost a complete dick, and he was pretty much against our main character, which was really rough, so I liked that in this episode they brought more humanity to him, and, at least to some degree, and he was mad that his technology was being, used in a negative way by Starfleet.
Right.
Until, Lorca tells him, we own all the technology you have created, so you can leave, but it's not going anywhere.
Right. He tries to stand up for something he believes in, which is definitely... he's not just a sniveling, bureaucrat or something. He's a man of science who... He is a little sniveling, but he's a sniveling man of science who has convictions and is trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
I like Stamets a lot.
I also, I have a couple of, issues with the plot, and I wanted to talk to you about.
Sure.
Maybe you recognize something I didn't. When Michael Burnham opens, the case, and it's revealed that Giorgio left her the telescope.
Yeah.
That telescope was on the Shinjo.
Yeah.
And they specifically said that they didn't make any effort to recover the ship.
Oh,
and everything
I don't think they recovered the ship, but I think they recovered everything on it. Because,
you think?
Yeah, because Vulcan, that often happens. They'll go in and take out technology and stuff that might be sensitive. Like, because
they didn't take the warp stuff. Like, that's how the Klingons got to leave, is because they went on and got the warp drive.
But they just got dilithium. Like, I don't think dilithium's... dilithium. All the ships function off dilithium. Like, the warp is all... so I don't think that's, like... That's not Federation technology or whatever, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely... They do say... Voq and L'Rell say that the ship has been emptied out. So...
okay.
I suppose...
I didn't remember that.
Well, they said there's nothing on any of these decks. All he finds in her entire ready room is that little pad. So, and it could be said that like that all got sucked out into space, but it seems like, they must have cleared. And I mean, yes, the telescope had battle damage on it. So, yes, I think when that battle was over, they must have gone back to the Shenzhou. And, it being Star Trek, they could have just teleported all of the personal effects of all the crew off or whatever,
Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, I was just wondering what your take on that was. Because I didn't remember them saying they cleaned it out or anything.
They didn't say that, but Voq and L'Rell say there's nothing on this deck that's useful. And I just took that to mean they probably, went through and, emptied out all the technology and stuff to make sure the Klingons couldn't, steal their technology.
All right, so the other thing is, Korriban 2, they say it's 40% of their dilithium. Like, that place has, creates 40% of the dilithium that Starfleet uses, the Federation uses.
Yeah.
Why the hell is the fleet not there?
I just think that they said they broke through a blockade, so there was a fleet protecting it, and they said that the Klingons have broken through a blockade and are heading towards Korriban 2 or something like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The answer is yes. There was a fleet, a blockade protecting it, and they broke through. And,
not good enough.
Huh? Not a good enough fleet.
Not good enough.
They're at war, they're at war.
Yeah.
They're going to have losses, and this would have just been a really bad one. So they did have it protected, but the Klingons broke through the lines and were heading toward one of their sensitive areas.
I know it's possible. I know it's but part of me just wants to be like an admiral and go, "What the hell were you guys thinking?"
Right.
Why didn't you have a few more people there?
I think it's just evidence to the fact that they're stretched too thin. They're facing an enemy that is well matched against them, and anytime your enemy focuses their forces on one part, that's why attacks work in general in war, because you can focus your attack. As a defender, if you're defending things, your stuff has to be spread out to defend the entire Federation space. But from an attacking perspective, if you plan it well and you keep it secret, you can attack one specific place, and then they just can't get there in time, and you break through their lines, and then you can go at it. Man, I play Risk all the time, and so I'm really, really well aware of these strategies.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I just feel like you would think that they would be more, a little more protected.
Right. I think they're just stretched as thin as they can be. Trying to, they're not. They weren't on a war footing. They're these exploratory vessels that suddenly are getting conscripted into war, and I'm sure every captain in the fleet is having these same issues with his crew. Like, I didn't sign up for a war thing. I'm here to explore, and now they're all being conscripted into this war to just save humanity. Yeah. Any other issues?
No, but I did love, and without getting too spoilery, hopefully, and if I am, cut it out.
Well, I was actually going to say, I should have brought it up earlier when I was talking about some of Lorca stuff, and didn't want to get too spoilery. Let's do a little spoiler section at the end.
Okay.
I think that we didn't do that last couple times, but I think it's a good way to balance the idea of let's talk about it non-spoilery, and then at the end, let's dig into some of the things that have come up in our minds that we just wanted to talk about, and let's go as spoilers as we want to. Is that cool?
All right. Well, I'll save that then for after the quotes.
Yeah, let's do that. So, what are your favorite quotes of this episode?
The phaser will only piss him off Think of it as a placebo for my skepticism.
Oh, that is a really good one. I can't believe I didn't write that down.
Burnham and Stamets
yes.
with the tardigrade.
Think of it as a placebo for my skepticism. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I really liked another one, Stamets related, the doctor. I forgot his name again. Dr.
Culber.
Culber. Dr. Culber. I liked, he tells Stamets, talking about his frontal lobe being affected.
Yes.
He says, I'll save it in case you want to have an emotion someday. I love that. And for again, spoilery reasons, I like it even more. Mm-hmm. It's real good. Yeah. That's my only other one. That I said my only other one earlier. So you got any other good quotes?
I really liked Burnham and Saru. Those two have great chemistry. I love whenever they're on screen together. And Burnham tells Saru, "You could tell your threat ganglia to relax," and he just looks at her and goes, "My ganglia remain unconvinced."
I think I'll use that anytime someone's trying to convince me to do something. My ganglia remain unconvinced.
My other one was Burnham saying the whole Burnham Landry. You judge the creature by its appearance and by one single incident from its past. Nothing in its biology suggests it would attack except in self-defense. Commander, this creature is an unknown alien. It can only be what it is and not what you want it to be. And then she says, Landry says, it's amazing how much I hate Vulcan proverbs. You're new here, so let me share a piece of wisdom. Lorca isn't interested in what you are. He's interested in what you can do for him. And if he needs us to make that thing useful in his war effort, that's what we're going to do. I just dug all of that.
Yeah, that whole scene was great.
Do you want to do a little trivia?
Yeah, what's some trivia from this episode?
There's not a whole lot that I found interesting, and I got all of it from Memory Alpha. So
Memory Alpha, everybody, check out that
the
wiki.
Greatest place ever. But according to Lorca, Jason Isaacs, the actor, they did not include any references to Elon Musk, and he added that himself. Basic, and the reason is included here is because he said it was his attempt at persuading the powers that be at Musk's company to give him a Tesla.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's so funny.
Here's a little piece of continuity candy. Corvan 2 was also mentioned previously in New Ground in The Next Generation, and it was stated that the Corvan Gilvo was on the verge of extinction because of the extensive industrial pollution on the planet.
Well, that makes sense with all this mining going on. That's cool.
Yep.
Neat. I love that. I love all these Memory Alpha trivia pieces. I'm
I love Memory Alpha
to have that on the show. Well, you want to dive into some full season spoilers?
Sure.
So we are going to go talk about the full season. If you need to let us go, we understand. Check us out at all the places, StarTrekUcast.com. But we're going to be talking the full season now. So if you've already seen it, join us. So, spoiler alert. Now, so Lorca is what's really interesting me this episode.
Okay.
I don't know what, like, I feel like is his end game always, his end game is to get back to his universe.
That's what I thought it was.
Right. Like, that's why he's doing all the things he's doing.
As I understand it, he's trying to recreate the accident that brought him there.
Yes. And he believes, and based on, the last episode of this half season or whatever, like episode 7 or 8, he's looking for all that jump data so that he can get them to the other universe. Which is, I love that. I love that that's his goal. I think it's really cool. But, like, why is he so concerned? I guess, I'm solving this as I'm talking about it, which is why I wanted to talk about it. He's so concerned with the war effort and saving Corvan 2, but really, what is he doing? What is he getting his crew to do? he doesn't really care about Corvan 2. He only cares about them getting the spore drive working.
I get the feeling he's just using the war to get the technology pushed through. Like, they were working on this before the war, and the damn war came up, and, it just so happens that he's just, like, really good at war.
He is a product of his environment.
Well, sure.
I found that confusing that he seemed to care so much for Corvan 2, but now that I'm talking about it out loud, I realize it's just that he's trying to get the spore drive working so he can get back to his own universe. It's interesting that his actions, they do it, at least so far, and this is my first time rewatching it, but at least so far, his actions make sense for both motivations, which I love. I love that motivation doesn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
At least so far. We'll see how well that stacks up. Also, Voq and L'Rell. We know now what L'Rell's plan is.
Mm-hmm.
And we know where Voq goes and what he gets done. Weird. It's weird that L'Rell's mind immediately goes to that, especially with with their ethic. Like, their ethic is, we need to remain Klingon, and her idea is to take the torchbearer himself and put him in a human body, so that they can convince the houses. The 24 houses to come together, and I still don't fully understand what her plan is. I don't remember very well.
I don't either.
But I'm interested to rewatch that and see, because is it just trying to get the technology, possibly? Or are they just trying to get the Discovery's technology, this jumping around technology?
I mean, I'm not even sure she knows about it yet.
No, she doesn't yet. But I think she creates this human Voq, Ash Tyler, right? Mm-hmm. Ash Tyler.
Yeah.
She creates Ash Tyler, or takes his body or whatever, combines it with. They say that they just turn the Klingon Voq into Ash Tyler. So I guess they just use the real Ash Tyler as a.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. Voq.
Holy shit!
They take Voq's body and turn it into a human body. Is what they said.
Yeah, I thought they turned him. Okay, so was there a real Ash Tyler?
There had to have been, because he comes back from the prison, and I'm pretty sure he's in the Federation system.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess he would have to be.
Yeah. So he comes back, and he's a Federation officer. So I guess their plan here is, we're going to win the war for the Klingons by sending a spy. Like that, we're gonna win the war, and in doing so, bring the 24 houses under our control. I guess. So she's like, all right, we need a strong weapon against the Federation. What better weapon than Voq as a human? That's just a weird leap to make, especially for the Remain Klingon torchbearer. And she does say, you're going to have to give up everything. It's just, it doesn't, I don't know. I don't love that leap in logic that she makes of that's the best plan she has.
I don't know what other plan she could have. I mean,
well, I don't either, but that's the thing, is it just seems, it definitely makes for interesting storytelling with the character of Ash Tyler later. I like it, but from just the character perspective in this moment, where she's like, well, we're down on our luck. I guess there's only one thing left to do. I'm going to turn you into a human.
Right.
Like, what? Where did that come from? It's a bit of a logical leap. And okay, now again, as I'm saying it out loud, I'm talking myself into it. I guess she does say that the matriarchs in her house can do things that he doesn't imagine. And so maybe that's just some technology they have that she had. Maybe that's one of the last cards she has to play because it's a technology and a technique that her people have been working on. So maybe that makes it make a little more sense, because she does say they have abilities that you can't imagine or whatever.
Sad, strange precursor to Arn Darvin.
I don't know Arn Darvin.
Oh, that was the Arn Darvin was the guy in Trouble with Tribbles who was a Klingon in disguise.
That's right. Oh man, that's a good call. I wonder if they're trying to connect that or not.
I mean,
I wonder if we go back, like, what house he was from, and, like, if it was L'Rell's house or something. That would be a really cool connection.
That would be cool, but I don't believe they're trying to connect it any more than they were connecting Picard and Data looking like Romulans to Kirk being made up like a Romulan in the Enterprise incident.
Sure.
It's just a thing that they can do.
Right. No, yeah, but still, like, she says specifically I guess the matriarchs of her house have this ability, and so it's interesting to me that, like it seems like something that's specific to the people that she takes him to.
But here's the thing, though, like, when they scan Ash Tyler, he reads as human.
Yeah,
when they scan Arn Darvin, he reads as Klingon.
Well, it's also a few years later. Maybe they learn from the Ash Tyler experience how to detect it.
Well, I think this is probably more of a totally new thing. But maybe they did learn how to detect it.
Yeah, because it's like, 10, 20 years later, maybe, like, because they do eventually learn to detect it, even on Discovery. Like, he's like, now that I look a little closer, you're not a human. you are a Klingon that has been genetically and, like, physically modified to look like a human. And your memories and everything, like, you've been worked on. So yeah, it's
the whole thing gives me flashbacks to when I was trying to get all the DVD sets for Star Trek because they were so damned expensive, and you'd buy them off of eBay and look at them and you're like, they look normal, and then you look closer, these are bootlegs.
Yeah, it reminds me. It gives me flashbacks and bad feelings because I just remember when Ash Tyler gets up and kills the Doctor.
Oh, when he snaps his neck.
It's so sad.
That's so rough.
So sad.
That's so bad, man. So sad.
So we can talk about it here because we're in the spoilers. Stamets and the Doctor have a relationship, and that made that line about him having an emotion one day so much cuter. Such a cuter line when it's... Maybe if you want to have an emotion one day, like...
Oh, the thing that I was going to mention earlier, when Stamets said he's jealous of Ripper because he always wanted to talk to his mushrooms, that was some dope-ass foreshadowing, man.
Yes.
That was great.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the rest of the season. I really am much more impressed with this now that I'm not being as judgy, I think, the second watch. First watch, I was just really like, no, that's not Star Trek-y. This isn't working. Now I'm really just trying to live with what it is, and I know what's coming, so I'm not as, I don't know. I'm watching it a lot more as a fan, I think, than a critic this time.
Yeah.
Even though this time I'm podcasting about it, and literally critiquing it for like 20 minutes every episode.
Right.
Oh well.
All right. So we've done about an hour on this one.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for listening to our show. I guess we're done for the night. Peace. We'll be back with episode 5 in a few days. So, yeah. Peace.
Live long and prosper.
To reach out to us, hit us up at StarTrekUcast.com, at StarTrekUcast on Twitter, Star Trek Universe Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for us there, or send us a message at StarTrekUcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv. And if you want to hear more from Matthew Carroll, that's me, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, or go listen to my music at MatthewCarrollmusic.com or anywhere you get music.